Hey, what's up everyone? It's Alwyn here. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day as always. Lots of stimulus updates to cover, especially with the deadline coming up by midnight today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So there is some good news. Both the Republicans and the Democrats have reached an agreement on the stimulus package on Saturday night. The Republicans and Democrats are trying to pass both the stimulus package and the government funding bill together at the same time. The deadline to do so is by tonight at midnight. Otherwise, the government will run out of money and it will be forced to shut down. Congress claims that they have cleared all of the hurdles in order to sprint towards the final stimulus bill and stimulus checks. The final obstacle that has been preventing the deal was the Federal Reserve funding program to big businesses. On one side, the Democrats want to keep the funding program, whereas the Republicans, they do not want it. The Democrats wanted these lines of credits to be continued with the Federal Reserve. Specifically, the Democrats were angry that almost $500 billion was taken back from these credit line programs by Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin. These credit lines were hardly used at all, so Steve Mnuchin thought they could repurpose this money in the credit lines in the form of stimulus checks to help the American people. So he took away all the credit lines. Now, the Republicans are seeking to completely close these programs out because they are not at all popular, and it gives the federal government way too much power, especially when it comes to bailing out the Wall Street. Steve Mnuchin did receive a lot of negative feedback from his actions. However, keep in mind, this is the exact same money that makes up over 50% of the current stimulus package. Additionally, there was untapped money from small businesses with the PPP loan plan. This money totaled $198 billion, and this can be used to fund the stimulus package. However, the Democrats still wanted to continue to give the Federal Reserve access to these credit lines. However, the Republicans were concerned that the Democratic states would use this money for state and local government assistance, which is another reason that the Republicans wanted to shut down this plan. The good news is that the Democrats conceded late Saturday night and closed these credit lines for the Federal Reserves and continues to make progress on the stimulus package. So now that the credit lines are closed, this money will be repurposed in the form of our second stimulus package, and is one of the reasons we even have second stimulus check. For the future use of these credit lines, the Congress will have to approve it. The Democrats only conceded because initially the Republicans wanted to close down these programs for good, without the option of restarting them. And again, the reason that the Republicans wanted to shut down this program was because of the wording. The wording of the bill was very, very vague in that it would allow President-elect Joe Biden to use the program to fund their climate change initiatives and give money for state and local government assistance. Currently, we are waiting on the stimulus bill and the actual text of it. However, Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming told reporters today that there would be a $600 stimulus check, and that everyone who was eligible last time for the first round of stimulus checks would also be eligible for the second round stimulus checks. Leaked information says that children or dependents will also be able to qualify for the $600 stimulus check. This means that a family of 4 would receive $2,400. Senator Barrasso also said that there will be a second round of PPP loans for small businesses. However, this would be more targeted at this time. The second round would only apply to businesses with 300 employees or less, and those businesses must show a loss on paper. He also went on to say that the federal unemployment benefits would be $300 per week, as we've been discussing. Leaked information says that the federal unemployment benefits will only last for 11 weeks. Keep in mind, before we were talking about it lasting for 16 weeks. However, this information is just rumors. Senator Barrasso said this will get done today. There will be no more delays, and we are not leaving until there is relief for the American people. So now for a timeline of events and how things need to play out in order to pass the stimulus check. First off, the stimulus bill will be drafted. This is what's currently happening. They are currently writing up the stimulus bill. Then the stimulus bill will be released so that we can see the details of the second stimulus check, the unemployment benefits, the PPP, and many other details. Then the House of Representatives will vote on the stimulus bill. This is expected to happen very soon. Afterwards, the Senate will vote on this bill. Most likely this is expected to be very, very late at night. However, if they fail to pass this and vote on this bill, that means the government funding would have to be extended until tomorrow. After the Senate votes, the final step is that President Donald Trump must sign off on the stimulus package. No details have yet been released about the extension of eviction protection or food assistance programs. After the stimulus check, the next big thing will be the Georgia Senate elections on January 5th. If the Democrats win, you can expect another massive stimulus package. President-elect Joe Biden said that if this was passed, this would only be a small down payment for the stimulus package that he will pass once he's in office. However, on the other hand, if the Republicans win the runoff elections, this would mean there's going to be more political gridlock. In terms of a time frame of receiving the money, it should take roughly 2 weeks after the passing of the stimulus package in order for individuals to start receiving their stimulus checks. However, keep in mind, looking at the first round of stimulus checks, some people didn't receive stimulus checks until about a couple months after. But the first wave can be expected within 2 weeks of the bill being passed. Unemployment benefits would also take roughly 2 to 3 weeks in order for it to be restarted. In the past few days, it has been confirmed that President Donald Trump has asked both the Congress and the White House to include a larger stimulus check for the American people. Trump tweeted last night, "Why isn't Congress giving our people a second stimulus bill? It wasn't their fault. It was China. Get it done and give them more money in direct payments." In political news, the politicians are getting ready to clash with President Donald Trump, who has threatened to veto the National Defense Authorization Bill for a variety of reasons. One reason is that he wants to remove American troops for countries that are unappreciative of America's efforts. Secondly, he wants more funding in order to counter China. He claims that $2.2 billion is merely not enough. Thirdly, Trump wants to protect our national monuments and does not want to give the authorization to rename Confederate military bases. And finally, but most importantly, President Donald Trump wants to terminate Section 230, which gives liability protection to tech companies. Okay, and let's talk a little more about Section 230 and what it really means. Trump believes that big tech companies cannot have it in both ways. They cannot have both liability protection while at the same time being able to label people's information as misleading. When Trump tweets and he gets Twitter labeling a fact check, Trump believes that this action in itself should go ahead and eliminate Twitter's ability to have access to liability protection. He says that if you want liability protection, you need to let people speak freely. And if you don't want liability protection, continue doing what you're doing. People believe that President Donald Trump is specifically targeting Section 230 in anticipation of his 2024 elections. If there is no Section 230 in place, then it is less likely that President Trump will get his tweets flagged by Twitter and has a larger opportunity, and that will help him in the 2024 elections. President Donald Trump has until December 23rd in order to veto the bill. It is believed that he's intentionally waiting until the last minute, because if he does, politicians will need to come back to DC and their vacation quickly to go ahead and fight the veto. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed the video and learned something new. I really do appreciate all of your support a lot. Make sure to drop a like down below. It does help me out tremendously. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on those post notifications so that way you're aware of when I do upload my next video. Comment down below, and until next time, peace.